Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts, and in this video I'm going to be creating a scrapbook layout for Pinkfresh Fridays, and that's a YouTube hop where a bunch of us scrappy YouTubers get together once a month on a Friday and we create a layout using only Pinkfresh Studio products. So for my layout today, I'm also going to use this sketch that was provided to us by 𝗬𝗵𝗏, who is the one that is the creator of the Pinkfresh Fridays YouTube hop, and she created a layout using this sketch. She's on the design team for Scrap Our Stash, and I think that this sketch is awesome, so I decided to use it as well. It's from November, and it's from their sketch challenge. Okay, so here are the pictures that I'm going to be using for my layout. These pictures were taken in 2009. This is a picture of my great niece Elena, and she is now in college. So these pictures are quite old, but I thought they were super cute. And I wanted to use Christmas pictures because I recently got this new collection from Pinkfresh Studios. It's called Holiday Magic, and I picked this up during the Black Friday weekend sales. I shopped at a new store to me that is called Only One Life Creations, and I'll put a link to that store in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. But during the Black Friday weekend, they had a sale where everything in their entire store, even including all of the new stuff, was on sale for 15% off. And so I just went ahead and picked this up because I just think it's adorable. I just love this collection so much. And y'all need to go and check out onlyonelifecreations.com. They're having a huge end of the year sale as well. And so it's a really awesome place to go and shop for scrapbooking supplies. And I want to thank my friend Rosalie over at Can't Wait to Plan for telling me about that shop because it's super awesome. Okay, so back to the layout here. I am just showing y'all all of the different things that I have from this collection so you can get an idea of the different things that I have to work from or work with. And I did pick up the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a flip through here, and let me go ahead and speed this up a little bit. So the paper in the 6x6 paper pads are the same design as what is in the 12x12s. It's just on a smaller scale. There's 2 of each design, and there's 24 different designs in this paper pad, and they're double-sided. And just look how adorable this paper is and how bright and cheerful the colors are. I just think that this is just a fun collection to do a layout for Christmas. Okay, I also did pick up the thickers, and they're really pretty red puffy sticker, and then I have the cardstock stickers, and then also the chipboard stickers. And here is the 12x12 paper. Okay, so I'm going to start off by looking through the 12x12 papers, and I'm using the sketch and trying to figure out what papers I'll need for this layout. And I'm looking for a paper that I can use as a background, but also to make the circle and the strips of paper. So I did think about cutting that, maybe fussy cutting that out and using that as a circle. But I really didn't think that that paper suited the look and feel that I was going for because the pictures of my niece, she's only 6 or 7 in these pictures, and I wanted to keep the layout really more fun and playful. Okay, so I'm looking for another paper to go with this green plaid. I really love that plaid, and I think I wanted to use a plaid because there was a plaid in the sketch. And I picked out another paper that had little icons all over it. It was quite busy, but I really liked the combination of those 2 papers together. And I'm going to try to work with that, but that paper is going to go away. I'm not going to end up using it. It was just way too busy. Okay, so now I'm looking at this paper that has all of these little tickets. And I had this idea that I would use that ticket paper to create those strips of paper. And I would just cut this paper into strips. And I thought that would be super fun, but that's going to cause me more problems later than I was expecting. And so I am just gonna go with it for now. I think I'm still trying to figure out if I could find a different paper to use for the background here because I wasn't too sure that I wanted to use that really busy paper. I'm also looking for something to use for the tag that's on the right hand side of the layout. And I'm just going through all of the different ephemera that I have. I wanted to look through this pack of tags to see if there was anything that I could use in there, but all of the tags were quite small. In addition to the tags, I also picked up the ephemera, and then they also had this title ephemera, which is something I've never seen before from Pinkfresh Studio, but it's a bunch of ephemera that has different words and sayings that you can use as titles for your layout. And so I really wanted to use one of these larger pieces as my title. So I'm just pulling out different ones that I think might work. I wanted to do that first before I even started putting the layout together, because I want to make sure that I leave space for my title. Okay, I also want to make sure that I pick papers that is going to go with the title, and it's going to allow the title to stand out from whatever paper I end up using for what's going to be underneath it. I think it's really important that when you're trying to plan out your layout, that you think about the title and making sure that that is going to stand out, because if it blends too much into the background, it makes it really hard to read. So I like to think about my title when I'm starting out, and because I've learned my lesson in the past, I wait to the end and I don't leave space for the title, or maybe there's a title I would really love to use, but it doesn't work with the paper that I selected. And so I try to plan that out ahead of time. So it's always a good idea to try to do that. And you can see here, I'm going to start laying these different titles on top of that really busy paper. And I'm going to decide that I really don't want that busy paper to be underneath my title. And I originally thought about using that busy paper as the circle, but my title is going to go on that circle, so that is not going to work. Okay, and then I thought about using the green plaid as the background, and that was originally what I was going to do. But you can see here that the title stands out so much better on this green plaid paper. And so instead of using this as my background, I'm going to use that as my circle. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started here with cutting everything. And I'm going to start by cutting down this paper into strips, but I'm not going to make y'all watch me do that. So let's go ahead and skip ahead. Okay, so now that I have some of these tickets cut out, I'm going to start playing around with laying this out to try to see if the papers that I have selected are going to all work together. And I'm finding that it really looks super busy. And I have to say that I have been on the struggle bus lately with scrapbooking because I just can't seem to make things go together. It's just a struggle. And I feel like I torture my layouts. I will glue things down and rip them up, and glue them down and rip them up. I don't know if y'all do that, but it can be a little frustrating. So I am going to go back and look through the paper. I'm going to try to see if I can find something to use as the background. And right here, I'm just looking to see if I can use something here as the tag. I wanted to figure out how that would look on the side. And I did decide that I was going to use something from there, but I didn't cut it out yet. But I'm going to go back here and I'm looking to see what could I use instead of that really busy paper. And I just... it was a struggle because all of the papers in this collection are super cute, but they're very busy. And I really love the one with the words there, and I really did think about using that one. The yellow, I like that yellow. It's just super bright, and I didn't think it really suited my pictures. The candy, those little peppermints or candies, they didn't really look like they went too well with the plaid paper. I really didn't want to bring in more blue because my pictures had a lot of red and green. And so this paper again is fighting with that plaid. The presents was very busy, the picture with all the little presents. So you can see that as I'm going through the different papers, I'm just trying to figure out what could work as my background. And I did like this pink paper with the stars. I did think about using that, but I didn't really think it suited the pictures. And I kind of go back and forth with that paper as well. I didn't really want blue, so that one was out. The floral and the plaid were too close in color. They didn't stand out against each other. And then that stripe was competing with the plaid. So there wasn't a whole lot of choices to go with this plaid paper. At least not one that I thought would really suit my layout. I did think about using white, but then the white just seemed like it was just too plain. And back again to this really busy paper, and that I eliminated that one. It was just way too busy. Okay, so now I thought, well, I'm going to use this really colorful paper with the words. You're not going to see too much of that paper because it's going to be the background. And then I'm going to have this really large circle that's going to be that plaid paper. And I kind of went back and forth between the paper, the pink paper with the stars and the paper with the words. And I'm going to end up kind of going with this paper for now, but I'm going to change it later. So this layout went through quite a few changes as I struggled with my paper selections. So whenever I get stuck, I just move on to something else. And so I decided to work on the tag. And instead of using a tag, I decided to use one of these cut aparts that looks like a ticket. And then the next thing that I decided to do was to go ahead and cut out my circle. And I'm looking at the sketch trying to figure out how big that circle was. I think I went with a 9-inch circle. I'm using the circle cutter. This is a new tool from Creative Memories. It is so awesome. I love using this tool. And you can actually slide that measurement up and down and create circles from 3 inches up to 11.5 or 11.75 inches. And you can see here that I just set that onto 9 inches. And then this part down here, you press that white button, push down, and it ejects the blade out. That's how it works. So to use this tool, you put it down on the paper, hold the middle, and that's going to stabilize it and allow you to make it spin. And I'm just checking to make sure I'm not going to go off the edge of the paper. And you press down and hold that white button at the same time and just go around in a circle. And it's just so easy to use this tool to make circles, and it just cuts like butter. It's just super awesome. Okay, so now that I have my circle cut out, I'm going to try to lay out my papers like the sketch. And I really did not like how this was coming out. I just didn't like the way it looked. And I am going to end up changing this up. And I think it's okay if you don't follow the sketch exactly, because you could just use a sketch for inspiration. You can use it exactly as it is, or you can change it up and do something different. But sketches are really an awesome tool, but don't limit yourself to only doing what's in the sketch. Just use your own creativity, and if it's not working, you can just come up with another idea. Sometimes you just might have to come up with more than one idea, and just keep trying things until you find something that works. So my next idea that I tried was to change out my background paper to this pink paper with the stars. And I didn't like that either. It just did not look right. And so I'm not going to keep that paper as my background. So I'm just going to move on and try out the next idea that I had, which was to take the reverse side of the paper that I used when I cut out my circle and use that as my background. So I think that that really worked out really well, and that's what I ended up doing. But one of the things that was kind of caused me to have a little bit of a struggle was that I cut the circle not in the center of the paper, but off to one side and very close to one of the edges. And so I'm going to have to try to figure out how to make that work. Another thing that I didn't notice until later was that when I was putting down this circle, I kept putting it at a diagonal so that the that plaid pattern was at a diagonal. And I really think that in the end, when I turned that to where the diagonal was straight up and down, it looks way better. It doesn't look as busy, and it was kind of interesting to me to see the difference that that made in my layout. The other change that I decided to make was to take those strips of tickets and to just layer them on top of each other to kind of make it look like it was just some tickets that someone was holding, instead of trying to layer them in front and behind the circle. And I really like that way better. Okay, so I did struggle a bit with this layout, and I moved stuff around for quite a while and then decided that maybe I should take a break. So this is the next day, and I decided there was just something missing from this layout. I wanted to add something to make it pop a little bit more. And so I decided to mat the circle and also to mat my layout. And first I started out by using a white cardstock. I cut a circle slightly bigger than the plaid circle that I had there. And I just didn't think there was enough contrast between the papers with that white cardstock. So I tried out a red cardstock, but my title was red. I also had that red ticket on the side. There was just a lot of red on the layout already. And it looked okay, but I'm going to try out this green cardstock. And once I put that there, I just fell in love with that. That just looked so good. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut out a circle with this green cardstock. And I wanted to make this circle just slightly larger than my other circle. So I'm just going to move the dial over. And the measurements on this circle cutter tool, it's each one of those lines represents 0.2 of an inch. And so the circle is going to be 9.2 inches. Okay, so once I have figured out that I have that centered in the center of the paper, I'm going to go ahead and cut the circle. I wanted to make sure that was at the center because I am going to use the that green cardstock to map my layout. So I didn't want to make a mistake and make the circle too close to the edge of the paper. Okay, so here I'm just trimming off, I think I trimmed off about 3/8 of an inch on two sides. And then I'm going to just take this paper and mat it with that green cardstock. Okay, so once I have that matted, I'm going to go ahead and also mat my circle using this green cardstock. And I really love the pop of color that this added to my layout. I think one of the things that I struggle with Pinkfresh Studio papers is that they have a lot of white in their papers. Their designs are really pretty. They're just really gorgeous designs. But I find that sometimes there's just not enough color. So I think adding this cardstock really makes those patterned papers really stand out so much better. And I just love now how this layout is turning out. Okay, so now that I have everything figured out and I like my paper choices, I'm going to go ahead and start gluing things down. So this is the exciting part. I did want to rearrange these tickets one more time, and I just wanted to overlap them and make them look more natural, like it was just laid there without really any thought. Sometimes it takes a lot of thought to get it to look like you didn't put any thought into it. Okay, so I really like how that looks. I am going to put some foam tape onto this title, and I had to buy myself a new roll of Scotch foam adhesive. I buy that from Amazon, and it's a huge roll. So the one that I like is 3/4 inch wide, and it's 38 yards. And the last roll that I purchased, it took me 3 years to use that up, and I use it all the time for both scrapbooking and card making, and I just really love it. I tried some other foam tapes, but I just keep coming back to this Scotch foam tape. And I'll put a link to that in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. And I don't leave it on the full roll because that's so big and awkward. I will take the foam tape and I will just start out and I will wrap it around itself until I get a roll that's about 6 inches wide. And then I use that and I keep that in my Raskog cart or close to my workspace. And so it's not quite so bulky to have that huge roll of tape. So when I was going through the ephemera the day before, I did pull out some of the florals and also this stack of presents. And I think that's super cute, and I love the color that added over there to that side of the layout. I'm also going to add another ticket right there at the top. There's something really strange about the tickets in that they have these little white circles where you would have had the perforation for the ticket. And I didn't really want to cut those little circles out, so I just decided that I would try to figure out a way to cover that up. And so I'm going to strategically place my picture in a certain place and also the presents and all of the embellishments to cover up the places on the tickets that had the little white circle. I just didn't like how it looked, and I didn't want to cut it out and have the underneath showing through. I just decided I would just cover it up. So that's what I ended up doing. So I really love adding dimension to my layouts, and I'm going to add foam tape underneath some of the leaves on the florals. Also to this circle or label that has the number 25. I pretty much added foam tape to all of the ephemera except for the tickets. And I just love adding dimension, and I just think it adds so much texture and just variation in your layout. It makes things more interesting. Okay, so now I'm going to place some musical embellishments with these floral pieces, and they're going to end up right back where I started. So I'm just going to skip ahead and not make y'all have to watch that. Okay, so I really wanted to use this quote. It was one of the things from the ephemera, the title ephemera, but I couldn't figure out how to make it fit on the layout. So instead of using that larger quote, I'm going to use the smaller one. And I'm also going to bring in this little bird. I did move that bird around quite a bit, trying to figure out where to put it. And it's going to end up sitting on top of the 25. And I really think that the bird is a cute addition to this layout. It did bother me a little bit that it was on top of the red ticket, but most of the bird was sitting on top of the 25, so I was okay with red on top of red. It was just one of the things that I struggle with is my perfectionism, and had I known I was going to put that little red bird there, I might have used a different ticket. Okay, so now we're going to add some finishing touches. I want to add some enamel dots and some puffy stickers. And the puffy stickers had some more of the floral pieces. And so I decided to add one of those puffy stickers to each one of my embellishment clusters. And I just thought those were really cute. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some enamel dots. And I added enamel dots, I believe, in red, yellow, and green. And I might have added blue, I can't remember. But as I go about putting on these finishing touches, I wanted to invite y'all to go and check out all of the other YouTubers who are participating in this YouTube hop for the month of December. And I will have links to all of their channels in the description below. So be sure and go check out everyone that is joining in on this hop. I think it's a lot of fun to see what everyone creates using all of these products from Pinkfresh Studio. And they have some really awesome collections. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have. I'm going to show y'all some close-ups. I don't have a video clip of my dogs. I was doing this video right after Christmas, and my dog Bella is not feeling good. She's having, I think she might have a cold. She's been sneezing and has a runny nose, and she's got a sore on the top of her nose, and she's not feeling good. So I did not take any videos of them. But I'll be sure to include a video clip of my dogs in my next video. Okay, you guys, I hope y'all had an awesome Christmas and you're going to have an even better New Year's. I just want to wish y'all a very happy holiday. And if you like this video, please give it a like because it helps me to know what videos y'all like to see on my channel. It also helps YouTube to know which videos people like so that they can recommend it to other people that watch scrapbooking videos. And if you have not subscribed to my channel and you want to see more videos, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. Okay, you guys, y'all have an awesome weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now.